The best way to guarantee that you never reach your true potential and give yourself the life that you want is by doing absolutely nothing. And we all know this, right? This is a simple concept to grasp. If you don't do anything, you don't get anything in return. But starting is the hardest part because you have no momentum of making good choices. And I believe that every good choice leads to another good choice, and every bad choice leads to another bad choice. I think that's why people wait till January 1st to start working out, because they feel like all of the bad choices that they made the previous year, they don't matter anymore, right? It's a new year, new me. That's what they say. But once you do start making those good choices, it leads you to continue making good choices. I did this yesterday, I can do this again, right? And I understand this concept. All of my freshman year of college, I made terrible choices. I made terrible dieting choices. I made terrible financial choices. I made terrible spiritual choices. I was complacent in my situation, and it led to me wasting that whole year of my life. I was complacent with my physique. I was complacent with my bank account, my relationship with God. It destroyed me, honestly. It led me down a dark, dark path that took a while for me to get out of. So, for starters, I was not doing anything to better my life. That whole time, I was just enjoying myself. I was just trying to make it to the weekend. I was not trying to get smarter. I wasn't trying to get more successful in any way whatsoever. I would go to the gym every day, of course, because that's always who I've been. But I wasn't trying to progress. I was going to the gym more so as an excuse to just eat like a fat ass and just excuse it and say I'm still healthy because I'm going to the gym. But I wasn't at all. My lifts were getting worse, but I didn't care. And I was also getting broker and broker the entire time. I still had a job. I was working at Zaxby's and I was door dashing on the side. And I remember thinking to myself, whenever I would go out to get fast food, I would do a DoorDash order and I would make like $10 maybe. And I would say, okay, now I can get fast food because I'm not going bankrupt. I made the money back doing DoorDash. And that's how I spent a lot of my time, just to get food. And I wasn't building anything for myself. I wasn't building success. I was just in it to get by and to make it to the weekend. That's when I could spend all the money that I've made at Zaxby's. I was also complacent with my spiritual development. I was going to church every Sunday. I was going with my girlfriend for the most part. But outside of church, I wasn't really working on my relationship with God. I was definitely a lukewarm Christian, and I was not a good person, in all honesty. But it took me losing that girl to really realize I don't have anything going for me. I've wasted all of this time just trying to get by and being comfortable in my situation, being comfortable with everything I have, and not a good type of comfort, but a comfort in which you don't work towards anything. I was just trying to get by. I was just trying to make it to the weekend. I would show up to all my classes. I wouldn't really talk to anybody. I wouldn't really pay attention to the material that we were learning. And I would just go there, leave, come home, wait for the weekend so I could binge eat and watch football, go downtown, do whatever. In January, me and my best friend Cody, we decided that we needed to join a small group. I actually realized that there was so much more in terms of my relationship with God that I needed to work on. And our church, we are non-denominational, but we still participated in Lent. And so for Lent, for me, I challenged myself and I said, I'm going to completely give up alcohol and I'm completely going to give up processed foods. And I knew that those were the two worst things that I was participating in at the time. And I knew that they were detrimental to the man that I wanted to become. So when I did give up both of these things, I inevitably lost weight. I started to become more healthy. I started to dial in my diet. And in turn, this made me motivated to actually try in the gym, start doing cardio, start being healthier in other areas of my life, because I really built up that momentum of good choices. I built up the momentum of making good dietary choices by eating whole foods, not eating any fast food at all. Literally just every day was basically Greek yogurt, jasmine rice, ground beef, chicken, and a protein shake and some fruit. That's about what my diet was. Some days it sucked, but I was doing it for a greater cause. I told myself, if Jesus could fast for 40 days and 40 nights, then I can eat clean for 40 days. I mean, come on. The way that I got started was, I started Lent, and I had a new time period where it was like, what I did yesterday doesn't matter, because, today's a new day. Today is day one of the challenge. So I do think that the New Year's resolutioners are onto something in a way, because when you wait till January 1st to start something, it does make you feel like yesterday doesn't matter. But a lot of times people don't have an opportunity to tell themselves that. And so I think that we need to be able to do a mental reset, even if we don't have a real reason to, even if we don't have a holiday or like a specific date on a calendar. We need to just be able to tell ourselves, today is a new day, and today can be day one, right? Any day can be the day where you reset and decide, I'm going all in starting today. This is also what I did when I started posting on social media. It was really the first time that I had committed to anything and actually followed through. And it was humiliating at first. It was truly pretty embarrassing when I first started posting. And it shouldn't have been, but I had 0 posts for 2 years going into when I just started posting a ton out of nowhere, because I realized that I needed to start growing my brand. And when I did, I accepted that all of my friends who follow me right now are probably going to see this, and they're probably going to think, what a loser. What is this kid doing? And it's really all in our head, but that's besides the point, because we're all going to think it when we first start out. You just have to accept that everything you could ever want in your life is on the other side of sucking at something for an extended period of time. Once I was 3 months into posting on social media, I could look back at my account and I could be like, wow, I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. And I really wasn't good at it at all. But I knew that I was right in making that decision to start, even though I wasn't good at it. Because you can't just wait until you know everything. You can't wait until you think you're going to be good at something to start doing it, because it's never going to happen. You're not going to be good at something until you start doing it. And that's what I had to learn, because growing up, I had always been naturally good at most things that I do. I'm a very athletic person. I'm a very competitive person. And all of the sports that I've ever played, I've been pretty good at. And so I had to learn to lose my ego and actually suck at something for once. Posting on social media was not a skill that came naturally to me. At some point in your life, you're going to have to be okay with being bad at something to get better at it, because not everything you're going to be a natural at. It's good for you to suck at something and truly go through that, because then you'll appreciate the growth so much more. You'll appreciate getting to that point where you're actually good at it. And I'm still not amazing at posting on social media, but looking back at my old videos, it is so apparent how much better I've gotten. And it's so clear how much more I understand what I'm doing here. And so you will be bad when you start, but that's just something you have to accept. You can't just try to get all the information before starting. And that's why I waited so long to do it. I always wanted to become an online fitness coach, but I never thought that I had it figured out. I never thought I was qualified enough to start posting on social media. I never thought I was good enough yet. But that's not going to happen until you start, until long after you start. So if you can accept that and suck at anything, you're going to get better. If you can accept that on your first day of going into the gym, you might look like a dumbass because you don't know any of the machinery and you're not strong. And you might be embarrassed because you think the other gym goers are going to look at you and be like, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. They're not. But that's besides the point, because we're still going to believe they are anyways. No matter how much I tell you that every person at the gym, they are not worried about what you're doing, and they are supportive of people who start. Regardless, we're going to be embarrassed when we start out. 3 months in, we're going to look back and we're going to be proud that we made that choice. The feeling of looking back and saying to yourself, wow, I haven't done anything in 3 months, that feeling is so much worse than the humility of being bad at something for 3 months. I would much rather go to the gym, not know what I'm doing, and be embarrassed for 3 months than look back and think, damn, I wasted 3 months doing nothing. And it feels like such a daunting task right now to get started with whatever venture you know is going to improve your life. But you don't have to do everything on the first day. All you have to do is show up one time, one day, make the decision to start. Then every single day, add something on top of it. You will develop that momentum of making good choices. Don't get stressed out about how much you have to learn. The only thing you need to know right now is day one, yesterday, every bad choice that you made doesn't matter. Today's a new day and you can get started. And the longer you wait, the more time you waste, the harder it's going to get. The people that are truly successful, I believe, are the ones who are capable of making decisions and acting on them immediately, even without all the information, and accepting that they're probably going to look like a dumbass. The time's going to pass anyways. So you might as well just accept that you're going to look bad for a little bit. Later on down the line, you're going to be so proud of yourself and you're going to be so glad that you chose looking stupid over doing nothing. Because doing something is always better than doing nothing. And if you do nothing, that is going to guarantee you a life of sitting in your room, playing Xbox all day, eating Doritos. The potential humiliation, it is nothing compared to the idea of wasting all this time in your life. So just start. Just start, man. That's all I can say. Just start.